Hi, so in this video, I'd like to show you how to add game objects into your pretty much our game framework. Now that we've kind of set up a number of things such as graphics, user interface, and sound. And I'm going to be using the constructor pattern. It's a pattern is basically a way we, organize and program code so that it kind of, it solves a particular issue. And I can show you what the issue will be and what the constructor pattern kind of, I guess saves us from. Patterns offers some form of organization to solve a problem. And this one in particular, this constructor pattern, it allows us to quickly spawn a lot of variants of the same object. So we can create an object kind of once, and then we can spawn a whole different variations of it very quickly. And you don't have to, it saves time basically. So let's get into it. All right, so I just want to show you that we have an object here. I'll just show you we have an object here. Oh, we've got an error in the code. Play sound. We changed that to play sound wave, isn't it? Wave. And also, we don't, since it's always a wave. We have an object here. That's a kind of a ball that kind of jumps around here. And if we want to make a whole heap of balls, we'd have to go, okay, well, now we've got to go X ball. We might have to go, we have to create, a bunch of, we have to copy and paste a whole new set of this one for another ball. And then if we have 100 balls, we'd have to make like 100 of these. And you don't want to do that. That's not practical, right? It's not going to happen. So really, we don't want to generate a ball using this. All right, so really, I should delete my ball. But I won't delete it yet. So I don't want to program bits and pieces of my ball scattered in this framework here. All right. So what we want to do is we want to organize it. We want to put our ball in a place. And what better place to do it than a class? Just like we put all of our audio stuff in our class here. All of our things that handle our audio, right? Right, all of these things. So what we'll do is we'll right click and we'll add a new ball, and let's call this object ball. All right, we'll add an object called ball. So this is going to be one of our game objects. Now here's the deal. Let me go back to our PowerPoint. The constructor pattern offers us a few things. It organizes our objects into, and our objects will have two aspects to them: properties and methods. The properties are the things that kind of like its attributes, like X and Y, size, color, things that it kind of you can set for it. And methods will determine its behavior, how it draws itself, how or how it loads itself. All of these things. What kind of picture is how it draws its pictures. It's about more of a how. So let's create a ball with these properties and some properties and some methods that are associated with the ball. Right, so in everything in every game object in our game should have some kind of location. So what I'll do is I'll make this public property, and I'll give it an X as a single, and I'll give it an X and Y. And our ball, if we want to control our size of the ball, we should also give it a size. If you don't want to control the size, you want to hard code the size to a particular size forever, you probably don't need to do that. But how about we just give it as a bare minimum X, Y, and size. So they're kind of our free properties for a ball, and we can add more if we want, depending on what we want. And since I made these public, I'm going to make these capital. Now the ball will have some methods, and the method's going to follow our flow, our game flow. So the ball will probably have some kind of load if it has a picture, update, and draw. All right, so we're going to add these three methods in. So it's going to have a public load. Now I make it public because the game window needs to be able to call these methods, right? We're going to go public sub load public sub update and public sub draw. Now for this particular ball, we're probably not going to use this, but I'll just leave it there anyway. All right, for this particular ball, we're probably not going to use this. But for other things, we might have to load assets, might have to load, you know, sprites, whatever that the ball needs to load for itself. Update is going to be used to handle the, you know, how the ball kind of works basically. But actually, and finally, what we need is some kind of constructor. So we go public new sub new, and we want to give our ball some kind of x value. When we create this ball, we want to establish a few parameters. So what this constructor is it allows us to give this ball a starting value for x, y, and size in the game window. All right. So we don't want to hard code it in here. You know, then it will just always, every ball will be the same, right? We want to, you know, set what kind of x, y's and size we want as we generate the balls in the game window. So this is kind of our little function that will allow us to do that. And then whatever we choose here in our game window, we will then save it into here. So we'll go me.xx me dot y me dot size. So what that basically means is when I create the ball later, well, I'll show you very soon. When I create the ball, I'm going to set these values, and then they're going to get slotted and get saved into this class here, or an instance of this class. So really, when I create the ball, I've already created it. Now, of course, I can change its position when it loads to something else. So even though I set it to a particular value, its load could be something completely different. It overrides that. Me.x. Me meaning the ball. What I'll do is I'll make the ball fall, just like we did before. We go y equals y plus 1. And you don't have to put me, but it's just better practice if you put me, so that we know exactly why we're talking about. So it's going to fall, and it needs to know how to draw itself. And with the draw function, we need to grab the graphics from we basically need to grab the graphics from the main Windows draw function, and then we're going to use it to draw the ball. So what we'll do is we'll draw a fill ellipse. And you know what? I'm just going to game window. Just going to copy the code I've already got. So this, I'll grab all of that. I don't need the clear slate. Don't need this anymore. Gonna get rid of that. Just need the clear slate here. And I'm going to just paste this into here. And to be honest, I don't need custom. I don't have alpha, so I'll just set that to 255. I don't need pen anymore. Don't need this anymore. So this will draw our ball. Okay, so a class is like a blueprint. We're telling it what the ball will start off with, how it will behave, and how will it draw itself. But none of this will be done. We actually need to call this in our game window. We need to create our ball instance actually. So let's go into our game window and create a ball. So right now I can pretty much delete all of this. Anything related to the ball I can delete. I can delete all of that. And now I can generate my ball. So first thing I do is I go dim my ball. And it's going to be a new ball, which is this thing here. One of these things. one of these game objects, and we're going to create an instance of it, like a version of it. And notice that it doesn't work. It requires my X, Y of size, because I've established when I design my ball that this is what I want you to set when you first make your ball. So let's set those into of a particular value. Let's set it to, let's chuck it at 100, 100, with a size of 40. And then in the game window, in the game load, we're going to go ball dot, this is a new ball as ball, and then we're going to go dot, and all of these properties here we've got to load here. So this thing will call whatever's inside here, so we'll do that. I probably don't want to do that, then it will overwrite whatever I give it here. Next, let's get rid of it, close this down. Next, so in our load, we'll load the ball. In here, we don't need those anymore. We'll go my ball dot update, and then the update will perform the behavior of the ball, which is the fall down. So any ball that I create will do the same thing. I haven't made any variations to that behavior. And finally, after the clear, after you've cleared draw your background, you go my ball dot update. Draw, and it should now draw itself. Now let's try that. Oh, and put the G in. You need to pass this graphics into there so that this thing uses the graphics to draw the ball. Let's try that. And there you go, the ball is falling. Right. Now watch this. Now here's the beauty of the constructor pattern. So I've made one ball. Right, I've made one ball. And you know what? I'm going to vary the fall rate. So what I'll do is I'll have another, and these properties doesn't have to be public. They can be private at this point. And let's call this V speed, vertical speed. V speed as single. And what I'll do is I'll then want to pass in a V speed parameter as well. And save it into the ball, the current ball that I'm creating, whichever instance of the ball I'm creating. Right? And then what I'll do is over here, I won't use 1. I don't want it to fall at 1 pixels per frame. I want it to call that whatever the V speed I set it to when I generate the ball in the game window. All right, we'll do that. All right, now we go back to the game window. And at this point now, we need to give it a V speed. We'll put it 1 for now. But here's the beauty of using the constructor pattern. So if I wanted to create another ball, let's have a bit of time. Oh no, you know what? I'll save this in the next video. So we'll just conclude. So what we've done is we've created an object called ball, and we generated an instance of the ball, because the object, the class is just a blueprint of how to make a ball. Whereas what we've done here is we've generated my ball, which is an instance of a ball, a version of it. I can create another instance of a ball. I can go ball 2, ball 1 as ball, and then give it another give it another set of numbers, and it will be a different place, different size, right, and a different fall rate. And then I would have to go my ball 1 dot update and load here, right? Let's do it. Ball 1 load. I know I want to conclude, but I'll just show you quickly. My ball 1 dot draw, and now we've got 2 balls, slightly different positions, different fall rate, same color though. There you go. So you got the 2 balls. So do you see the beauty of the constructor pattern? Now you only create one and you can start fiddling around and making different variants of the ball. But in the next video I'll show you how to generate a whole heap of balls quickly using a random function. See you next video.